Black Dog Media. In the studio, back in the booth, bringing y'all truth. Yo, it's FM. Got another issue to bring to the table. My issue today is going to be in reference to the economy and the situation that we are facing right now with the dollar, and people are getting kind of worried and frustrated in reference to job loss and things like that. Now, I want to talk about the dollar for a second. Now, there's been some recent news in reference to the dollar. A lot of people are dumping a lot of countries are trying to dump the dollar, and United States, we might be headed for some trouble in reference to the dollar. And the dollar is not doing too well right now. And like I said, a lot of countries are trying to dump the dollar and replace it with another currency. Now, eventually, I think, based on research and based on information that I've come across, that the dollar will be replaced eventually, because I mean, I know gold and silver. Gold actually is at an all-time high right now. A lot of people are buying, gold, and a lot of people are buying silver to prepare for the potential collapse of the dollar, which will happen. I'm not sure if they're going to replace the dollar with another form of currency before that happens, but who knows? If they take some time for them to replace the dollar, we have to resort to using gold and silver, then hey, so be it. But there will be some kind of form of currency that we will use to exchange, to buy goods and services. I mean, we have to have some kind of form of currency. Every country has some kind of form of currency that they use to buy goods and services. So what happens when they replace the dollar? Okay. What happens to the United States government when they replace the dollar with another form of currency? Now, the government provides services to the American people. You have Medicaid, you have Social Security, you have what else? You have welfare. You have different public services that government provides. I mean, government, they provide grants and funding to schools and universities, small business loans, just business loans in general. I mean, there's a lot of services that the government, that they provide for the people. Now, as far as housing, mortgage, they back the mortgage industry. Now, the thing is, I want to just say this, because if the dollar collapses, say the government, since we have such a high deficit right now, say our government goes bankrupt, completely bankrupt, which some say the government's already bankrupt. But I want to just put this out. What if the government cannot pay for any services anymore? A lot of states are facing this problem where they cannot pay for basic services anymore, and they're cutting a lot of services because they just can't afford to pay for them anymore, pay the employees. Now, what happens when government can't provide services that they did provide for the people of that country? Who's going to step in and provide those services? What's going to happen to those people? Will the people of that country or that state, will the people of the United States band together and provide for the people who are not being provided for? People, senior citizens on Social Security, that need that monthly check every month to, survive. If they stop getting those payments, then that would become a serious problem. They don't get their Medicaid, that would be a serious issue. Now, would the individual citizens of that country, of the United States, step in and pick up the slack? Shouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? No one's going to sit back and let elderly people suffer, are they? Any sane citizen, any sane person of a country is not going to sit back and watch an elderly person die and waste away. Because, you think about Social Security, those checks that those elderly people get are really very small checks. Usually from $300 to say $900 to $1,000 every month. That's the money for them to live off of and buy their necessities, and things like that. But it's nothing. They're not going to be living a upscale life or fancy lifestyle with that kind of income, But if they just lose that, would the people of that country step up and help those people to get through each day? Provide housing for them, provide food, provide the medical care that they need for free. That's something that people that might become a reality if the government ceases to provide services that they usually provide. Social Security, Medicaid, welfare. People on welfare. Women with kids, there has to be some kind of safety net for women with young kids. If it's welfare or what have you, if those services are cut, then there has to be some kind of intervention by private citizens or citizens of that state to make sure that mother and that kid or those kids are taken care of properly. Welfare is a safety net for a lot of women, and I'm not sure, of all the reasons why women are on welfare, but for the majority, I think it's a necessity, and they're on it for reasons that are legitimate. Government can't provide those services, and people are stuck with no monthly check coming in to provide the necessities that they need. Older people, single mothers, who's going to step up to help these people? People in that community are going to have to step up. People outside of that community are going to have to step up and help those people that are not receiving the services that they receive from the government. Once the government, or if the government happens to not be able to provide those social services that they usually provide. So this is something that could happen, and from my understanding, it probably is going to happen, but we just don't know when. And people are just going to have to step up in that community, in the communities around the United States when when that occurs. And because, think about it, the government does provide services, but in general, private citizens provide most of the jobs in the United States. Small businesses, private citizens can come together and do a lot of things in that state or community to make that community a functionable community. Do we really need, how much government do we really need as far as helping providing jobs and social services? Really, we can as individuals, provide services, come together and make sure that people in the community are taken care of. They have food, they have shelter. That's something that anybody can step up to the plate and provide those services. Especially if there's a unity in the community, people coming together and just devising a plan. Hey, how are we going to deal with these older people over here that don't have any shelter? How are we going to deal with these people over here that don't have any food? How are we going to deal with this single mother with kids? She has no place to go. People can come together in the community and build structures, houses, rent out houses, whatever, what have you, and turn those facilities into places for people to go that are in need. We have homeless shelters and things like that, but we can have a lot more. Churches, mosques, temples. All those different types of places can be turned into places as refuge for people who need basic necessities. We don't have to depend on the government to make sure that we survive or we're okay. We can, as a people, do a lot of things on our own and provide services that will make sure people at least survive and are able to get through each day. If we get to a point where the government can provide services temporarily for the people, then the people in the community, people in the surrounding communities are going to have to come together. Just like any natural disaster, people come together and help out people who can't help themselves. This is Black Dog, signing off. Peace.